So one of the major keys to becoming a world-renowned coach, somebody that is respected, somebody that when your clients work with you, they feel like they are seen, heard, and understood, is when you can get yourself to a level where you are a fantastic active listener. And I got to tell you, when I first started coaching, I was trying to tell people what to do. I wasn't listening when they were sharing. I only listened a little bit, and I was always trying to come up with a solution or the next idea that I think would help them. And I definitely felt blocked as a coach. And then when I started working with more coaches, I realized that they were really great listeners, the ones that really had an impact on my life. And so I started to really have a keen interest in learning how to become a better active listener. So this is really an essential skill for coaches. This helps to create a supportive and a non-judgmental environment that encourages your clients to really grow and to really develop. And it's because we all want to be seen, heard, and understood, right? So I'm going to share some steps with you so that you can learn how to become an active listener at a high level. And this is practice. Again, just like the coaching process that I shared in module 1, you becoming a better active listener isn't going to happen overnight, right? It's really about practicing. And the more that you get on the mat and practice with more people, the better you're going to become. So first things first, you want to focus on the client, right? As a coach, it's important for you to give your full attention to the client during each and every coaching session. So that means no distractions. That means making sure that your client also is not distracted so that they can clearly communicate with you. You want to make sure you're in a relaxed environment. You don't want to have, your dog barking or the kids screaming, right? You want to be in a space where your client can feel very seen, heard, and understood. That's the first things first, okay? Your body language as well, your tone of voice is very important, and even being able to pick up on theirs as well. So make sure they have a camera on if you're coaching online. Make sure that they can clearly communicate with you in a room where it's quiet as well, okay? That's the first thing. Second thing is listening without judgment. Often we can just jump to conclusions. So active listening actually requires that you sit there and listen without sort of judgment and criticism. And obviously we do judge. We judge things. We're weighing things. Is this good? Is this bad? Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it up? Is it down, right? But ultimately we want to be able to listen to our clients and hear the full thing that they're sharing. Not just jumping on top of them and saying, no, that's wrong, that's off, that's terrible. It's important to create a safe environment where your clients feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and their feelings, okay? This is going to get them to open up a lot more. They're going to be more vulnerable, which is great because it means that the deeper stuff can come to the surface. The third thing would be that you want to ask open-ended questions, okay? Asking open-ended questions actually encourages your client to explore more of their thoughts and more of their feelings in more depth, not just to answer superficially, but to go even deeper. And these questions often start with, what do you think is there? Or how did you come to that conclusion? Or why do you think this must be in play? Right? So they're open-ended questions there. Another thing that I ask my clients often is, would you be happy if you continue to stay this way even 5 years down the line? Like if you fast forward to 5 years down the line, you were still living in this place, would you be happy with that? And so they say, no, I wouldn't be happy. Okay, well, what is it about that you feel would be a detrimental thing? Like what is it that's most detrimental? What would be your biggest concern if you were to stay in that space? So see how I'm stimulating conversation, getting them to go deeper by asking these questions. Right, it's a great example of asking open-ended questions. Why, how, what? Another thing you could do is paraphrase. So paraphrasing often involves really just restarting what the client says and doing it in their own words. So if they say, oh, I was really hurt when I was 6 years old, and they're going into the story, you could say, okay, so you said that you were hurt at 6 years old. Or, okay, so what I understand is that when you were 6 years old, you were hurt. So see, the client then feels seen, heard, and understood because you're reflecting it back, right? And this goes back into the next step, which is you've got the paraphrasing, which demonstrates that you're actually listening and acknowledging. But then we go another layer deeper and we go into reflecting the emotion. So reflecting the emotion involves you actually acknowledging and validating your client's feelings. So when you do this, this helps to build the trust. It helps to build the rapport. It creates a safe space for your client so that they feel like they can explore their emotions freely. And this often results in a very powerful coaching session because a lot of the time people don't feel safe enough to be able to share their emotions freely. Then you want to summarize, right? At the end of the session, you want to break down, okay, so look, here's what we covered. Here's what I noticed. Here's some things that you shared. And here are your concerns. Here are some of the feelings that were rising up in you when you were experiencing this. And so when your client hears this, they think, okay, great, this person is listening to me. And then on the final piece, you can provide feedback. And this may be you sharing observations, maybe some insights, maybe some suggestions with your client. And this helps them gain some new perspectives and new insights. And it helps them to develop some new skills and new behaviors within themselves that creates a great change. So you really want to be able to create a supportive environment. You want to be able to create a space that is non-judgmental. And this is a great environment for your client to feel seen, heard, and understood. So anyway, I hope this was helpful for you. Obviously, I'm not expecting that you can apply all of this at once. You might want to just look at the notes that you've written down or look at the worksheet that comes along with this and just go over it. When you are coaching, just making sure that you're practicing these things. Maybe just one session, you make sure that while you're in that session, that you're applying one or two of those important principles and points of active listening, and then apply the other one or two or three next time you do a session, and just notice how you get better and better as an active listener. You are going to be a very supportive coach that gets great results if you can really master this.